As the Biden campaign continues to fall apart, we have to start looking at the best case scenario for Trump. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election, because everyone can agree that as of now, yeah, Trump is the clear favorite to win the presidency. I don't think anyone can really dispute this at this point. It is getting so bad for Democrats that we're not even talking about can Biden even win or whoever Democrats run. We're talking more and more about, okay, what will be the best case scenario for Donald Trump come November? Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, I do want to be clear that I am not saying that this is an official prediction or hell, what's going to happen come November, but I wanted to look at, okay, if the stars align for Trump, what is the best case scenario for him? So this is not an official prediction. This is, okay, how much of a win could Trump really get come November? And we are going to assume that Biden stays the Democrat nominee, though there will be a fight behind closed doors about them trying to get rid of Biden. At the end of the day, they realize we're stuck with him. And in a best case scenario for Trump, I think he wins the popular vote by over 8 points. Yes, I really believe that. As of now, if everything goes perfectly, like, okay, Biden has another mental breakdown, his campaign falls apart even further, something crazy happens, I really do believe that in a best case scenario, Trump could win by 8 points, which just a couple months ago would have been seen as crazy, but at this point in time, we have polls from the New York Times showing Trump up by 8 points. So it might not be as crazy as it was just a couple weeks ago. Now, let us start with the for sure, no matter what you do, safe states. And for the Democrats in this scenario, they get California, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, Maryland, I guess, and DC. And of course, Maine first, I guess. Yeah, that's it. In a best case scenario, the stars align for Trump. This would be it for Biden. And as for Trump, he has Nebraska, mark that on accident, Nebraska 3rd, Nebraska 1st, of course, the South. I mean, is there anything to say about the South? None of these states are going to vote for Biden. Of course, Georgia would be closer, but you get the point that in a best case scenario, you can already tell that, yeah, Biden has a huge problem. Trump's already at 235 safe electoral votes. That means these are states or congressional districts that voted for Trump by over 10 points. Yeah. So Biden's at 90 and Trump's at 235. Now, there are a couple other safe Republican states, and that's Nevada and Georgia. Yes, I really believe in a best case scenario, Nevada and Georgia would be safe Republican. Georgia because, well, it voted for Biden by like, what, 2,000 votes or 10,000 votes? It was super close. And you're talking about a 12-point shift from 2020. Now, Georgia on paper has been trending Democrat in recent years, but it seems like, hey, Republicans have been gaining momentum in the state, and frankly, it seems like the Biden campaign has just given up on Georgia at this point. Yeah, not even in a best-case scenario, Democrats have given up on Georgia. Same thing in Nevada. There was that report a couple of weeks ago where, yeah, the Biden campaign has completely given up on Nevada. So, with that in mind, I do think in a best-case scenario, you have states like Georgia and Nevada being safe Republican. And I know that sounds crazy, but we're talking about a Trump plus 8 environment. That's a 12 to 13 point shift from 2020. So I don't see how it's that crazy to say, yeah, Trump is probably doing way better in Nevada, in Georgia, etc. Now, let's go northeast to northwest. Let us start with Maine at large. In a best-case scenario, I think Trump would win Maine by like 3 to 4 points. Back in 2020, the state voted for Biden by like 9 points. And the reason I'm confident that Trump is going to win Maine in a best-case scenario is the simple fact that demographically speaking, it is a super friendly state to Trump. Way better than New Hampshire, because New Hampshire, you have a bunch of people from Boston flooding into the state. And take a guess how a white voter from Boston votes. They're going to vote for Biden no matter what. So I think at the end of the day, in a best case scenario, Trump would win Maine by a couple of points. Now, New Hampshire, on the other hand, it is going to be down the wire in a best case scenario, just for the simple fact that you have a bunch of voters from Boston moving into New Hampshire, and they're taking their voting habits with them. They're not Republican, they're not conservative, they're white liberals, and they vote Democrat no matter what. But you're talking about a 12-point shift at the national level. And even with the state trending Democrat, in a best case scenario, I really believe that Trump wins it. By a couple hundred votes, it will be close, but he still wins it. At the end of the day, he wins it by a couple of points. Or not a couple points, but a couple dozen votes maybe. It's very close, but it's still a W. And already you could tell that this is not going to be a good map for Biden. Can you tell? Because we're already into New Hampshire and Trump's at 263. We're not even to the big states yet. And speaking of a big state, New York. This one, no matter what happens, even in a good scenario for Biden, I really believe New York was going to shift Republican no matter what. But now, we have to have serious discussions about, can Trump win New York? I'm not saying he will, but before the debate, Trump was down by like 8 points here. 8 to 9 points. Now, we're post-debate, and Biden's polling numbers have just absolutely collapsed. I am not saying that Trump is going to win New York. I still think in a best-case scenario, it will vote for Biden. But I really think that it's going to have a big shift to the right. It's going to trend Republican compared to the rest of the country. It's going to be like a 20-point shift, or whatever it is. Yeah, 20-point shift from 2020. Now, as for Connecticut, I do think it's going to be likely Democrat. The reason being is, unlike New York or hell, even states like Maine, I don't really think Trump has the most to gain here. Now, it will be within 10 points, but that's not really saying anything. Like, yeah, it voted for Biden by 20 points. You're talking about a 12-point shift everywhere. That's kind of expected. But I really don't think in a best-case scenario, Trump can win it. Will it be much closer? Yeah. Hell, it could be close enough to where Republicans win a couple House seats here. But outside of that, more than likely, Trump is going to lose Connecticut by like 9 to 10 points. New Jersey, on the other hand, this one's a bit tricky. Because Trump is down by 16 points. In 2020, he lost by 16. If we do a 12-point shift from 2020, that's Biden plus 4. But I really do think you're going to see some kind of New York-type shift in New Jersey. I really do think the northern part of the state in particular, you're going to see a big shift here. Now, does that mean it's going to be enough for Biden to lose the state? No. But at the end of the day, I think New Jersey would be within a point. In a best-case scenario, again, this is if the stars align, I really believe that New Jersey would be within a point or so. Delaware, on the other hand, likely Democrat. I don't think I gotta really say much here because, well, it's Delaware, it's Biden's state. It's gonna vote more Republican than 2020, but that's not really saying much. Now we get to the first state that people actually care about, Pennsylvania. In a best-case scenario, it's likely Republican. I don't think I gotta say much here. I mean, you're talking about a 12-point shift. You're telling me with a straight face that a 12-point shift doesn't make Pennsylvania, or hell, even Michigan, Wisconsin, we'll just put them in right away, as likely Republican. Yeah, no, in a best-case scenario, Trump wins all 3 of these states by over 5 points. Hell, probably closer to 10. And the only reason I say it's not safe is because, well, demographically speaking, Trump might be maxed out with white voters in some of these areas. And I know he's going to do better with, African-American voters, Hispanics, etc. But in these states, I don't think there's enough of them to cause a 10-point shift in all 3 of the states. Is it possible? Yeah. But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, Trump does win all 3 of the states by 5 points or more, which is just crazy to think about, but that's the best case scenario for Trump as of now. As for Virginia and Minnesota, I really believe that both states vote for Trump by a couple points, and I know that sounds crazy, but we're talking about a best case scenario, the stars align, everything goes perfectly, all right? I really believe that both Minnesota and Virginia vote for Trump at the end of the day in a best case scenario. Does that mean it's going to be by 15 points? No. But if Trump is winning by over 8 points or whatever, that's a 12-point shift in states that Biden didn't even win by 10 points back in 2020. And we've seen the polling in both states where he's within the margin of error already. So you're telling me with a straight face that, nah, Trump is gonna, lose both states in a best case scenario. Maybe a couple months ago you could have said that, but now, no. Best case scenario, Trump wins both of them. Illinois, the problem is Chicago. It's gonna be much closer than it should be, but at the end of the day, this state voted for Biden by 17 points. In a best case scenario, I think he wins it by like 5 to 6. Colorado, again, same thing. It's going to be much closer than it should be, but the problem is, this is Colorado. There's a bunch of Democrats moving here. Now, it would be a miracle if it's within 10. That would be actually good news for Republicans here. But Trump is going to lose it. All right, he's going to lose it even in a best case scenario, just for the simple fact a bunch of voters from, say, California or hell, Democrats from Texas have flooded into the state in the last 10 years. And they're taking their voting habits with them. Nebraska second, lean Republican, or actually likely. Yeah, likely Republican. Arizona, likely Republican. New Mexico. This one I'm going to get a lot of shit for. But in a best case scenario, we're talking about a, Biden plus 11 state. I really believe, especially with RFK and others on the ballot, Trump wins New Mexico in a best case scenario, which just a year ago, I would have thought was crazy. I thought that it was going to get closer, but I never thought in a million years that we could seriously discuss New Mexico voting Republican. But it's getting so bad for Democrats that in a best case scenario, I would not be shocked if New Mexico flips. I mean, it's only 5 electoral votes, but that's still, just a devastating blow for the Democrat Party. As for Oregon and Washington, I believe in a best case scenario, Trump loses both states by 5 to 10 points. Somewhere in that range. Yeah, you can argue, well, maybe it gets so bad for Democrats that they do awful in Oregon, they do terrible in Washington, where even Trump could win it. Maybe. If everything goes perfectly, I guess it's possible, maybe. But as of now, this is the best case scenario for Trump. If everything goes perfectly, I think this is what the map would be as of now. Do I think this is going to happen? I don't think so. But we are at a point now where Democrats, there's a legitimate possibility that this happens. Yeah, we're at the point where Democrats have to accept it, that they could get absolutely blown out. This is the reverse 2008. Remember when John McCain was struggling in states like South Dakota and North Dakota? Replace South Dakota and North Dakota with states like New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, etc. And replace a state like Indiana with a state like Virginia, a state like New Mexico, etc. This is not good for Democrats, by the way, because if this really does happen, for one, there's no way in hell Republicans are losing this House, nor the Senate. But number two, this would be a complete rejection by the American people, and I really don't know how they recover from this. You're talking about a historical defeat, where just a couple months ago, Democrats were saying, we're going to win in a landslide, we're going to beat the Orange Man, the Republican Party's dead. Now, we're talking about the potential death of the Democrat Party. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.